Today I'm going to be breaking down the top 3 best strategies you can use at Townhall 12 to 3-star here in hard mode. So the first army composition we are going to be jumping in to take a look at is going to be Super Giants and Witches. This is a really easy spam based strategy that you can use at Townhall 12 to pretty much 3-star any base, and let's jump in to break it down. So the first thing we're going to be identifying and doing is where are the Inferno Towers. Now we're going to be looking to take out 2 of these Inferno Towers. Obviously at Townhall 12 we do have 3 Inferno Towers to worry about, so we're going to take out the 2 that are furthest away from the entry point of our attack. Now in this particular example you'll see there's actually one multi-target Inferno quite close to the outside of the base here, so we're going to be taking out the 2 that are slightly further into the base, meaning that we're going to directly attack into the first one, and typically in this attack you're going to be able to crush it nice and quickly, and then you don't have to worry about the 2 others on the back end. So let's see, we're going to use 4 lightning spells and 1 earthquake spell per Inferno Tower, and you also want to try and catch as many other buildings as possible. Then you'll see it's just as simple as spamming in those Super Giants. The Witch is going to come in directly behind that, then all of your heroes are going to come down together with that log launcher. Now if we pause it up right there, you'll see we managed to catch a lot of things with that Eternal Tome, which is going to be one of the hero equipments we're going to be bringing on the Grand Warden. Also got that life gem with him. On the Queen, the healer puppet is actually going to be the choice with the invisibility vial, and then the king, it's the best equipment probably in the game right now for the king. That's going to be the giant gauntlet and the rage vial. So let's go ahead, we'll continue to watch this one as we progress through. Now the main thing we want to do here is to try and just funnel our troops in a little bit if we possibly can. It's not the end of the world if we don't. You'll see in this particular example, because of the way this base layout is set out, we actually get a kind of split of our troops, the majority coming over to this top side, but we do also have some coming over to this left hand side as well, followed behind that king. But out of our log launcher we're going to be bringing an ice golem and a P.E.K.K.A. Now that P.E.K.K.A. is going to be able to do a lot of damage, so much damage in fact, we might as well go ahead and rage it up. Now you can potentially swap this P.E.K.K.A. to other troops. I also like to use bowlers or super wizards, stuff like that can also be super effective, but typically at Townhall 12 this P.E.K.K.A., especially under a rage spell, is just going to be doing so much DPS that yeah, you're going to get a lot of value from it. Now the good thing about this attack, pretty much once you've taken down those Inferno Towers, you don't have too much to worry about. In this particular example you would have seen that Eagle Artillery was actually one of the last defenses we've taken down, but it didn't really matter because we had so much firepower coming through this attack. We can easily crush through to the back end of this one. We can use our King's ability there. We still have our Queen ability to use up as well, and you'll see this one absolutely crushed. So Witches, definitely pretty much from as soon as you unlock them at Townhall 9, they are one of the strongest strategies all the way through to Townhall 12. They can still be used after, but once you start to come up against Townhall 13 scatter shots, then it can start to get a little bit more complicated, but at Townhall 12 they're definitely still really strong. So the next attack strategy we're going to be jumping in to take a look at is going to be the upgraded version of Witches, which is of course Super Witches. Now these are incredibly strong here at Townhall 12, and if you can get them correctly funneled, they are going to absolutely crush through bases. So let's jump in and I'll break this one down. So the first thing you're going to want to identify is your entry point into the base. Now most of these style of attacks, it really varies from base to base, but typically what you're going to want to do is create a funnel to push your troops into the core of the base. Now this works on anti-2 and anti-3-star bases. This one is more an anti-3-star base, and you'll see we're actually going to take down the Town Hall fairly early on in this attack, but that's fine if that's the way you want to do things. So we're actually going to be starting off here with a Grand Warden walk. He is going to be set up to do a bit of funneling, and his equipment is going to be the Eternal Tome with the life gem. Now a lot of the times you might see different equipment, but for me this is definitely good equipment to come on through with the Super Witches. You can use that rage spell at the start as well if we're going to see a lot of damage coming down. Now we're going to be using not all of our spells, but some of our spells to take down an Inferno Tower in the core of the base right there. You'll see it needs 4 lightning spells and 1 earthquake spell, the same as that previous attack. We're just going to be taking out 1 of those Inferno Towers. Now with this particular example, you'll see the Grand Warden actually managed to pick up the 2nd Inferno Tower when he was doing his walk. Then what we're next going to do is create the 2nd part of our funnel, which is going to be with the king and a siege barracks. Now that's going to be coming in on this example over towards that top left hand side of the base. Their job is to clear a nice path here to keep the majority of our super witches funneled right into the center of this base. So let's continue through. We're actually encountering the clan castle troops pretty early on here, so having to drop down that poison spell of course to make sure we get through those. Continuing on with this attack, you'll see our troops are starting to move a little bit, so we're going to use that jump spell here just toward that town hall section, keeping them pathing the way we want them to. The difficult thing with this one, if you even get 1 super witch splitting from the pack, your Grand Warden may split off. So keep an eye on him. You definitely want to make sure you're saving him and his ability to get the maximum value. There was no point in using it at the start of this attack because there wasn't very much DPS, whereas we push towards the back end and suddenly we're encountering Tesla farms and stuff like that where we do need to make sure we're popping the Eternal Tome ability like we can see right there. Now we've got the Root Riders coming out of that siege barracks. They are going to be able to help push through really nicely on the back end of this one. Root Riders still incredibly strong, even just coming out of the clan castle. Continuing to push through on this one though, you guys can see super witches, they are notoriously very slow, but they're also very strong. We're going to be using our 2nd rage spell on this particular example here on those Root Riders and a Headhunter just to get through some more defenses and that enemy king. It looks like we're going to probably be finishing off with that Inferno Tower up towards that top section of the base. Our super witch is now starting to push towards the outside, but that's not the end of the world. They still have so many of them alive with those big boys out in front, doing some pretty serious DPS. Root Rider still going strong, manages to bust through that wall finally, and we can finish off, like I said, with that multi-target Inferno at the top. So this one, unlike the previous one, is going to take a little bit more skill. You're going to have to think about the actual attack itself just a little bit more strategically. Where are you going to use that Grand Warden to funnel? Where are you going to use the siege barracks? And then of course you want those super witches to go right through the middle of the base. But more often than not, you're going to be able to 3-star pretty much with this strategy because it's really strong. And the third and final strategy we're going to be taking a look at today is going to be the infamous LaLo. Now LaLo is super strong at many town halls, but it's a more complex strategy to use, so I'm going to try and break it down as simple as I possibly can so you can use it as well here at Townhall 12. So in this particular example, we're actually going to be doing a Blizzard LaLo, which means we're going to be bringing super wizards in our blimp, and the aim with this is to take down the town hall and any other defenses that are in that area. So the town hall on this base is down here towards that bottom section. We're going to use a couple of cocoa loons just to test for any seeking air mines, and then we're going to drop that down. We're going to use the invisibility spells, which last 4 seconds, the rage spell on top, and then you can count those seconds as you wish and try and keep those super wizards alive for as long as you need them to be to take care of the town hall. Now in this particular example, you'll see we didn't catch too much other than the town hall. We got an air defense and maybe 1 or 2 other buildings as well, but it leaves us with 2 invisibility spells that we can then use on the back end of the attack. Now the second part of this particular army composition, we're going to be coming in with our Sui, which means our heroes are going to be coming in king followed by our queen. We're going to be saving our Grand Warden for the LaLo portion of this attack. King coming in with his really strong equipment, queen going to be coming in with the healer puppet and invisibility vial, and the Grand Warden with the same equipment we've seen throughout all the rest of the attacks. So the heroes, we're looking to pick up as much value as possible, probably going to be trying to take down that Eagle Artillery if we possibly can, and as many other defenses as we can possibly grab. Now if we pause it up at this point, you'll see what we've actually done here. Not only have we taken down the town hall and some key defenses, we've also started to create that funnel, which means our troops are going to push in the direction we need them to, and in this particular example we want them to push through and around this back end of the base. So what we're going to be doing when it comes to this LaLo, we're going to be using those lava hounds out in front to tank for the balloons, and then we're going to sprinkle the balloons in behind. You'll see we're not going to draw a line, we're not going to go too heavy, we're actually going to be strategic here. Now we are going into an air sweeper, but that doesn't really matter too much. We're going to hold on to that Eternal Tome ability though until we catch kind of as many big defenses as we possibly can. We're going to use a free spell on the first Inferno, a haste spell to get our balloons through nice and quickly, and now we're coming into that double and multi-target Inferno, so it's the perfect time to use that Eternal Tome ability, trying to keep those balloons alive for as long as we possibly can. And even though we're pushing in against those air sweepers, it really doesn't matter. We have loads of spells to help support our troops through the back end of this one. We have haste spells, freeze spells, we still have that invisibility spell. The Queen's ability goes off on that top right hand side of the base, and this one is absolutely crushed. So the most important thing is making sure you secure that Town Hall with your Super Wizard Blimp, getting some decent value from your heroes. In this particular example, the Queen got insane value because she's still alive at the end of the attack, and then being strategic with your LaLo deployment, making sure you don't just spam it all in the one area. Spread out those lava hounds, nice with your selection of your balloons in behind, and then you're gonna get that 3-star. So hopefully you guys did find this video helpful. If you want to see more content here at Townhall 12, let me know down in the comments if there's any other army compositions you'd like me to check out. And if you did enjoy this video, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave a like on this video and subscribe as well for more content here on the Townhall.